Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each week to bring you tasteful content,
but viewer discretion is advised.
Now enjoy the show.
We'll begin this week in Snow Hill to get you ready for the annual Blessing of the Combines.
We head to Hartley to find out how Delaware landowners are protecting their property for generations to come.
It's crab picking season, and Scorchy Taws introduces us to a legend in the field.
And we'll look back at the time we got introduced to CF Moto ATVs at Bell Creek Equipment in Preston.
Outdoors Delmarva starts right now.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show that celebrates our communities, our cultures and traditions, and the places we call home. My name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch. Jason, how was your vacation?
Why? What did you hear?
Well,
actually, you better not answer that.
Okay, fine, I won't.
Well, you know what? I actually do want to hear what you heard.
Okay, well, she said.
Oh, no. Changed my mind. Second thought, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Well, kind of. But so she said.
Yeah. You know what? Let's not do that.
You know what? I think you need a few more days of vacation, or to switch to decaf coffee, you psycho.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here are Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
We all enjoy Delmarva-grown fruits and vegetables, but they don't just magically appear at our favorite produce stand.
Right. It takes dedicated farmers with the right equipment and a whole heap of help from above.
Which is why there is such an event called the Blessing of the Combines.
In 1998, four of us were sitting around in the Pocomoke River Canoe Company building, and we decided that the farmers needed to be honored. And we couldn't decide what type of machinery to use, but I went and talked to my dad, and he said, well, the combine is the biggest, that would go with that. So he said, you need to talk with the farmers. Well, we did go talk with the farmers. They thought we had lost our minds. Who's going to come look at a combine in a parade? Farmers decide on what date they wanted, so they chose the first Saturday in August because that is in between crops, and they have to get their combine ready for harvest anyway.
It's nice to have an event just for farmers and farming, but the thing I like most about the Blessing is it's kid-oriented, and it's little kid-oriented, and it's self-paced for the most part. The parade is short. After that, you can pick and choose what you want to do. So if you have a little kid, you can come and go, and you don't have to be there too long. A lot of the things for children are free. In fact, most of them are. There's just not that many things geared at kids scale anymore. The next thing I like about it, it's almost become like a homecoming or annual reunion for the community. A lot of folks you see once a year, you see them at Blessing of the Combines.
It's grown from the 500 people that were there at the very first one. They're hearing about it, and it is the only Blessing of the Combines that we know of in the United States.
But I think the Blessing is a time where we all come together and we show the best side of our community and agriculture. And it's a nice annual event, and it's free. I think everyone should come at least once.
Once again, the Blessing of the Combines returns to Snow Hill on Saturday, August 3rd.
We're going to step away, but when we return, we're going to find out how land preservation efforts are being implemented in the first state. Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. We'll be right back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
When it comes to preservation efforts on Delmarva, we tend to focus on the wildlife.
But without the land, there's no place for that wildlife to call home. Enter the Natural Resource Conservation Service.
So a wetland reserve easement, it's a scenario in which we pay a property owner not only to protect their property from development, but we also pay to restore the original wetland function of the property.
When we talk about restoring the original wetland properties, how does that happen?
So a lot of our properties in lower Delaware were drained for agriculture by installing ditches. So the Wetland Reserve program will come in and will create these berms, there's water control structures, there's various other methods that we could use to actually restore the wetland function on the property to kind of create some of that habitat that was lost. In order to be eligible for the Wetland Reserve Easement Program, we have to determine that there was first a wetland here originally.
Okay.
And if we determine that there was originally a wetland here, we will do things like create berms and water control structures to recreate wetlands that provide some of the habitat that was lost when we drained and ditched.
Mark, how long have you had the program instituted here at your property?
2012.
So it's
We put it in
been
place.
going on 14 years now.
Yes.
14. And what benefits have you seen over the years with the restoration of this wetlands that we're here?
Well, I've seen there's anywhere you have water, there's naturally going to be a lot more animal activity. I've seen wood ducks return to the property that I never saw before that. One of the reasons I wanted to preserve this property was for future generations. In selling the development rights, it'll ensure that it's protected and remains a woodland and wetland area for in perpetuity. If you have land that's not usable for cropland and it's not really buildable, or you just want to preserve land that is going to be otherwise unproductive, I think it's a great choice.
What would you say to somebody who says, you know what, I don't know anything about the environment like you do, but I would really like to get involved with this in any level whatsoever? What would you say to them on how to get started?
I would say it's a good idea to stop by one of our service centers. So they're located in every county, the USDA Service Center, and talk to the staff at NRCS, or the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and just tell them about your interests, what kind of land you have, what your goal for the land is, if you want to create habitat, what kind of habitat you want to create, and they can advise you on if you're a good fit for the WRE, or the Wetland Reserve Easement Program, or there's a whole bunch of other programs too that we have to benefit the environment and help you out as a landowner.
Wetlands play an important part in Delaware's ecology. They improve water quality, they provide important habitat for wildlife, and they also protect our working lands and our infrastructure from flooding.
To learn more about the Wetland Reserve Easement Program, as Emily said, go online to nrcs.usda.gov.
Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. We'll be right back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Jason, you like eating crabs, right?
Oh, absolutely. But truth be told, I'm not a great crab picker. Matter of fact, if I don't have something to eat while I'm picking crabs, I will actually starve to death while trying to get my fill.
Well, pay close attention, because you might just learn a thing or two in this week's Remembering Scorchy Taws.
Honoring the life and legacy of Scorchy Taws. Thanks to Shorts Marine in Long Neck, Delaware. Shorts Marine. Everything but the water.
Let us introduce you to Hazel Cropper of Crisfield, the reigning world champion fastest crab picker. Hazel can take a crab apart in from 8 to 13 seconds, leaving the shell as clean as an operating room in the Mayo Clinic. And speaking of clinics, Hazel Cropper has put one on in each of the past 6 championship competitions at the Crisfield Crab Derby. She does not, however, bask in self-glory.
I feel very proud that I was able to win 6 consecutive years, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile for the town. I was holding the record to represent the crab pickers and the man that I worked for. I represented every picker and every man who worked there in it. So it makes me feel proud.
Hazel Cropper works for Maryland Crab Meat Company in Chrisfield. Her 6 championships leave her one behind leader Joyce Fitchett in the 30-year-old competition, and her 4.91 pounds of crab meat picked in 1990 in the allotted time of 15 minutes is but 4 100ths of a pound off the world record set in 1975. There are those who predict Hazel Cropper in time will put both of those records to rest.
I enjoy picking crabs. Anything that you enjoy doing, you come good at it. So I feel as though this is my life, seafood.
And that life began in the days of her youth.
I learned how to pick crabs when I was 9 years old. To Nora Wars, my grandmother, Mamie Bishop, taught. And the older people always bring their younger children down to pick crabs. And we started by cracking claws. And as we got professional cracking claws, then they introduced us to picking crabs.
With a twinkle in her eye, Hazel Cropper says that was about 40 or so years ago. Today she is within 5 100ths of a pound of being the fastest human who ever cracked a crustacean, and 1 championship away from tying for the top.
Will she go for Lucky 7?
I hope so, if it is Laura's Rally.
Will she win it?
I would love to.
I'd never bet against her.
Remembering Scorchy Taws is presented by Shorts Marine, online at shortsmarine.com.
Did you know that striped bass, or rockfish, are born in freshwater areas and spend up to the first 5 years of their life in the Chesapeake before migrating to the Atlantic?
Did you know the Chesapeake Bay is the primary spawning and nursery area for 70 to 90% of the Atlantic striped bass population?
And did you know that the heaviest striped bass ever caught in the Chesapeake was 67 pounds 8 ounces, but the world record belongs to a female caught in 1891 off the coast of North Carolina that tipped the scales at 125 pounds?
Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
If you're a farmer, an avid hunter, or if you've walked more than 20 yards in this heat, you will appreciate the value of a capable ATV under your butt.
Which is why we're taking you back to when we first got introduced to CF Moto ATVs at Bell Creek Equipment.
Right here we have a CF Moto, the C-Force 1000. It's the Overlander. It comes with a beadlock tire and wheel all the way around. Compartments on the back that are also waterproof, we'll show you in a second. And it also has differential locking rears, forward and back. So, and it's a 1000 cc engine, plenty powerful and four-wheel drive. All Overlanders come with the winch on the front. I believe it's a 4,000 pound winch as well. So each four-wheeler does have for your four-wheel drive and your two-wheel drive, and then you also have your differential lock inside, and what is this push button. Each of these compartments are waterproof, and they do have a rubber O-ring inside, so you can store anything in there during all seasons and not get it wet. There is a drain plug in the bottom of these as well. In case the water does get in there, you can drain it out. Our compartments on the back are detachable. Got 2 clips here, and each one will come off just like this, and you can take them off and store stuff. The Overlander comes with a rear storage compartment with a small service toolkit as well for your spark plug, air filter, and oil filter. I would check the air filter every time you change the oil. If you are running in a dusty environment, or if you run through water, which you're not supposed to run this high, but run through water, you want to take and check it more often and make sure you don't have any contaminants in there to get inside the engine. Make sure the filter is doing its job. Overlander does come with a gas-filled shock, fully adjustable coilover suspension as well, so you can take and adjust your ride comfort and or height of the ATV. They use an electronic steering. It's an electronic vector steering, so you can literally start this thing up and drive it with one finger. Here we have the Overlander, which is a 1000, and here we have the 600 Touring, which is a little bit extended of a wheelbase, so that it has a room for a second seat. Still has your same features of your differential lock, your single button start and stop, your headlights, winch, and all that is the same. You don't have the beadlock tires and you don't have the compartments on the back, but you do have the same storage system that you can buy separate. If you get a Touring model, which is an extended wheelbase, you can have the second seat on the back, which is great for having a person ride on the back with you and whatnot. If you get the Overlander, you can take and store a lot of stuff on there for camping trips, overnighters, all of that nature. Everything at Bell Creek that we sell for the CF Motos, we're able to do everything from drivetrain to bumper to bumper, engines, transmissions, rears, whatever you need, anything outdoors and or on the farm. A couple guys use them all the time for pulling harrow, I believe it's called a harrow, for dragging your pastures or anything of that nature. They tow good and they pull well.
Be sure to stop by Bell Creek Equipment and check out their full line of CF Moto ATVs for yourself. And don't forget to say hi to Charlie.
We're going to take a look at your latest photos when Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, returns.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here are Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
It's time to flip through the photo album and take a look at your latest pictures.
Thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina.
Jameson Koch Jester of Lewis reeled in his personal best largemouth from Red Mill Pond. Jameson wanted to thank Jordan Peterson at Henlopen Bait and Tackle.
Brent Abbott of Federalsburg shows off his first rockfish that he caught from his kayak.
Janelle Police of Harbison hauled in this huge red drum from the waters of Colburn Creek in Marion Station.
And Janelle brought Anthony Tartabueno along to get his line wet with salt water for the first time, and he had himself a banner day.
Ty Smith of Bridgeville had a good day on the Nanticoke with the catch of this largemouth bass.
7-year-old Brady Parks of Delmar paid a visit to his grandparents and great-grandparents in Tangier, Virginia, and it looks like the Waterman spirit is alive and well.
Hey Lauren, why did the snapping turtle cross the road?
Not now, Jason.
Because it was a shell of a nice day for a walk.
Not now, Jason.
You don't let me have any fun. Thanks for the picture, Eileen.
Dale and Nicole Dorsey of Westover sent in this relaxing photo of Raccoon Point Beach.
George Ball of Ocean Pines sent in this beautiful sunrise shot, and we can see why George loves where he lives.
And Sally Kirchhoff sent us a few great bird shots, like this yellow-crowned night heron, this cedar waxwing, and this bald eagle peering through the tall grass.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And keep sending in those wonderful viewer photos. You can do that by going to outdoorsdelmarva.com or scan the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen.
Before we go, we wanted to extend a very happy 70th birthday to WBOC. We are honored to be a part of the family. We hope to see you right back here again next week. But until then, my name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch, and we hope to see you
Outdoors Delmarva.
Outdoors Delmarva, a Draper Media production, is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Shorts Marine and Bell Creek Equipment.